I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Ha Rakah Kodash, double honors unto our apostle elders, which rule great millstone wow, and shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure unto the end. Shalom wa abababal. This is 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 14. It says, of these things put them in remembrance, charging them before the Lord, that they strive not about words to no profit, but to the subverting of the hearers. When you got false prophets, and these false prophets, they're going to receive death according to the prophecies. Study to show thyself approved on how to think, unto Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, a workman that needed not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Which when you go into that word approved, study to show thyself approved. The word there, dokimas, which is pertaining to the accurate weight of a precious metal. And then it says, dakeo, says to be of opinion, think, suppose. So you study so you know how to think, and then you show it exposed to the eyes, right? To give evidence or proof of a thing. So it says in verse 16, but shun profane and vain babblings, for they will increase unto more ungodliness, which is sin. And their word will eat as doth a canker, of whom is Hymenaeus and Philetus, who concerning the truth have erred, having that the resurrection is past already, and overthrow the faith of some. Which they didn't believe, those two men. Hymenaeus, Philetus. Belonging to marriage is what his name meant. A heretic, one of the opponents of the Apostle Paul. And then Philetus, beloved, a heretic and a disciple of Hymenaeus. Root word to love, to approve of, sanction. It says, who concerning the truth have erred, saying that the resurrection is past already, and overthrow the faith of some. Nevertheless, the foundation of power standeth sure, having this seal, Yahweh, the Lord knoweth them that are his. And let every one that nameth the name of Hamashiach depart from iniquity. And this is kind of like what I was reading in my sit down yesterday. The Lord gave us redemption, repentance, and remission of sin. So as we come into this truth, all right, the Lord knoweth them that are his. All right, let everyone that nameth the name of Hamashiach depart from iniquity, because the ones that don't, they're going to be left here in their iniquity. Matthew 7, verse 22. Many will say to me in that day, Yahushua, Yahushua, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name have cast out devils? And in thy name have done, it says, and in thy name done many wonderful works? And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity, which is sin. And teaching incorrectly is sin. So it says in 2 Timothy 2, verse 20, but in a great house there are not only vessels of gold and of silver, but also of wood and of earth, and some to honor and some to dishonor. So in this earth, there's different kinds of men, especially in a nation, and dealing with the nation of Israel, all right? There's men that are gold, silver, wood, and earth. And that's talking about men. Some to honor and some to dishonor, which it goes back to Romans 9. It says in Romans 9, verse 21, had not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor? So out of Isaac he had two sons, Esau and Jacob. It says in verse 11, Romans 9, verse 11, for the sons Esau and Jacob, being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of Yahweh through his son Yahushua according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth. All right, so once again, the Lord chose who he desires, right? Out of the same house, one to love and one to hate. Esau he hates and Jacob he loves. It says, verse 22, what if Yahweh through his son Yahushua, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels, Edom, of wrath fitted for destruction. So the Edomites, the so-called Caucasians, the Lord's waiting to destroy you. He desires it, but he's waiting because his elect. It says, and that he might know the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy, which are the Israelites, which he had afore prepared unto glory. See, and that's what you're seeing play out, judgment and mercy. Judgment and mercy. And we're in a time of judgment, and only the remnant that truly believe in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai with a pure heart will be preserved. It says, 2 Timothy 2, verse 21, if a man therefore purge himself from these, he shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified. Right? So a glass that is clean in your cupboard is ready for use. So this is how the elect are. We really never cleave to nothing because the Lord didn't allow us to. And so we're ready to be used by him. But then you got other vessels that are stained and, filled with other things. So they're not, a lot of Jake, I got my life. I got to worry about these and worry about that. So they're not worried about what matters, which is the Lord. So they're going to be destroyed in that unfaithfulness. All right. So it says, he shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified, meaning clean, and meet for the master's use, prepared for the master's use, empty, ready to go. But once the Lord uses you, he fills you with living water. And he says, feed my sheep. And it says and prepared unto every good work. Flee also youthful lusts, but follow righteousness. Right? So a man that can't control his lust for a woman, that's a carnal man. That's not spiritual. Faith, charity, peace with them that call on the Lord out of a pure heart. Once again, a pure heart, knowing what you're involved in and being fully committed. But foolish and unlearned questions avoid, knowing that they do gender strifes. And the servant of it says, and the servant of the Lord must not strive, but be gentle unto all men, apt to teach, appointed to teach, patient in meekness, instructing those that oppose themselves, if Yahweh's power peradventure will give them repentance to the acknowledging of the truth, which Yahweh is the truth, and that they may recover themselves out of the snare of the devil, who are taken captive by him at his will, because they're given over to all those earthly desires, right? So their vessels are not clean, all right? But the elect were clean to the truth. It says in John 15:3, now ye are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. John 17:17, sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is truth, which it speaks of Yahweh Shai. Yahweh's word speaks of Yahweh Shai. And that word, sanctify, it says to render or acknowledge, or to be venerable or hollow, to separate from profane things, and dedicate to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai. Consecrate things to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai. It says to purify, to cleanse externally, to purify by expiation, free from the guilt of sin through Yahushai. To purify internally by renewing of the soul. So what's it say in Hebrews? Romans 12. It says, I'll start at 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai. All right, so don't be conformed to this world, but renewing your mind. All right, that's that being born again. All right. See, it says in John 3:3, Yahushai answered and said unto him, verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai. Verse 7, marvel not that I said unto thee, ye must be born again. 1 Peter 1:23, being born again, not of corruptible seed, meaning being born of a man, and a woman, but of incorruptible, by the word of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai, which liveth and abideth forever. See, so we got to be born again, not of man and woman, but of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai, learning through these scriptures and applying it to your life. Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. Wa ba ba ba.